Have you ever wondered? Welcome to my channel, Philosophy of Stoicism. It all started on a warm summer evening in Austin, Texas. My name is Laura Mitchell and I had been married to my husband Daniel for nearly 8 years. Daniel was a kind, reliable man, stable in every sense of the word. We had a quiet life, a nice house, and a routine that rarely changed. Sometimes I appreciated the predictability, but other times I felt like something was missing. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you an important truth that every man needs to understand in order to build respect from women immediately during my research on female psychology and the factors that drive attraction. I came across a saying that made me rethink everything. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Daniel's best friend, Brian Carter, had been a part of our lives since the beginning. They'd known each other since college, and their bond was something I always admired. Brian was the complete opposite of Daniel. Where Daniel was calm and reserved, Brian was energetic, adventurous, and outspoken. He could light up any room with his charisma. I'll admit, when I first met Daniel, I found myself slightly drawn to Brian's presence, but I quickly pushed those feelings away. After all, I loved my husband. Over the years, Brian remained a constant figure in our lives. He would visit often, sometimes staying over during long weekends or holidays. Our kids, Mason and Lily, adored their Uncle Brian, and I had grown comfortable with him being around. He'd never crossed a line, never given me a reason to feel uncomfortable. Until that one night, it was during a 4th of July weekend. Daniel had gone out of town for a work retreat that couldn't be rescheduled, so Brian came by to help with the kids and set up fireworks in the backyard. After he tucked the kids into bed, Brian and I sat outside with a couple of drinks, watching the last of the fireworks fade into the night sky. There was a moment of silence between us, the kind that carries weight. I could feel him looking at me, but I avoided eye contact. Finally, he said, "Laura, can I tell you something without you freaking out?" I laughed nervously. "Depends on what it is." He hesitated, then took a breath. "It's been years, and I've done everything I can to bury it. But I have to say it out loud. I've always had feelings for you." My heart skipped a beat. I set my glass down slowly and turned to look at him. "Brian." I know, he interrupted, raising his hands defensively. "You're married to my best friend. I'm not trying to ruin anything. I just needed to tell you. It's been eating me alive." I didn't know how to respond. Part of me was stunned, but another part wasn't entirely surprised. There had always been a quiet tension between us, one neither of us acknowledged. I stood up, trying to process what he'd just said. "I appreciate your honesty," I said carefully. "But this is complicated. I'm not asking for anything," he said softly. "Just if you ever wondered, even for a second, if we could have been something, that's all I want to know." I didn't sleep well that night. Brian stayed in the guest room, and I tossed and turned in mine. I kept replaying his words in my head. Had I ever wondered? Of course I had. There were moments, small fleeting ones, where I imagined what it would be like if I had met Brian first, but I always reminded myself that what I had with Daniel was good, solid, dependable. The next morning, Brian acted like nothing had happened. He made pancakes for the kids, joked around, and went about the day as usual. I followed his lead, but the air between us felt different, charged. That night, after the kids were asleep again, I joined him on the porch. We didn't talk at first. We just sat in silence, listening to the sounds of the neighborhood. Then I broke the quiet. "What's your wish, Brian?" He looked confused for a second. "What? You said you just wanted to know if I'd ever wondered. But I think there's more. What do you really want?" He stared at me, the seriousness in his eyes undeniable. One moment, just one honest moment between us. That's all. It was reckless. It was dangerous. But in that moment, I said yes. We didn't speak of it again. After that night, Brian left the next morning before the kids woke up. And when Daniel returned from his trip, everything was back to normal, or so it seemed. But something inside me had shifted. I carried the guilt of that night like a stone in my chest. But I also couldn't deny that it had awakened something in me. A feeling I hadn't experienced in years of being wanted, of being truly seen. Weeks went by, Brian didn't call or visit. I told myself that was for the best, but deep down, I missed him. One afternoon, I got a text from him. It simply said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." I stared at it for a long time before responding, "It's okay, I'm sorry too." We didn't talk for a while after that, but life, as it always does, kept moving forward. School started back up. The holidays came and went, and eventually Brian re-entered our lives, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened, and it changed everything. Daniel noticed the distance between us. He asked if I was okay, if something was bothering me. I lied. I said I was tired, stressed, overwhelmed. He believed me, or maybe he just wanted to believe me. Then came the day that changed everything. Daniel was cleaning out the garage and found an old camera we hadn't used in years. He started flipping through the memory card, laughing at old photos of our kids, family barbecues and holidays. Then he paused. His expression changed. I was folding laundry in the living room when he came in holding the camera. "What is this?" he asked quietly. I looked at the screen. My heart dropped. One of the kids must have played with the camera and accidentally recorded part of that weekend. There, clear as day, was a clip of Brian and me on the porch, leaning in too close, whispering too intimately, nothing explicit, but enough to raise questions, enough to break trust. I froze. My mouth went dry. "Daniel, I can explain what he asked," his voice, trembling that my best friend, my brother, crossed a line with my wife. It all came out then, the confession, the guilt, the truth I had buried under routine and silence. He didn't yell, he didn't scream, he just sat down, stunned and heartbroken. The days that followed were some of the hardest of my life. Daniel moved into the guest room. We barely spoke. I didn't know if our marriage would survive. Brian tried reaching out, but I ignored his calls. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the life I had built, the life I had nearly destroyed. Eventually, Daniel agreed to counselling. It wasn't easy. We had to rebuild from the ground up. I had to earn his trust again, step by painful step, and slowly we started to heal. As for Brian, he moved to Denver a few months later. He sent one last message before he left. "I'll always care about you, Laura, but I'm sorry for everything. I never meant to hurt anyone." I never replied. It's been over a year now. Daniel and I are stronger, more honest and more connected than we've ever been. We don't pretend everything's perfect, but we've chosen to fight for each other. Sometimes life throws you a moment that changes everything. One decision, one choice, and you can't undo it, but you can learn from it. So yes, my husband's best friend had a wish, and I said yes, and it nearly cost me everything. But in the end, it reminded me of what truly matters and what I'm willing to fight for. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Philosophy of Stoicism for more real, relatable advice on navigating the complexities of love and relationships. Remember, relationships take time, care, and effort, but the rewards are worth it. When fear and caution are met with understanding and patience, they transform into trust and connection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.